And one. All right. So welcome back to Sin.ethix Unfiltered. And last time we had Likith, HYROX winner in doubles men Mumbai 2025, which happened in March or May, I suppose. So we had him here, and we spoke. We spoke for about 2 hours, and that video is out there. And if you have not watched that, you can just click on the I button or in the description. And today we have the partner of Likith, the one who crushed HYROX Mumbai doubles men in 1 hour 5 minutes, which is great, and got the podium too. And let's say hello to Pranav. And hi, Pranav. Thanks for joining. Let's hear it from you itself. Just introduce yourself to the audience and just tell what you do. I mean, everything. Then later on we can just have a raw conversation and then go ahead with it. Yeah.
So I've been Likith and I have been working on for I think nearly 9 years now. We've started off as running buddies, and then now I think we've gotten into this whole HYROX thing. Initially, he was the one who injected me with this HYROX fever, so I think I'm also into it now. And I'm sure he's done that to all of you also. For you, especially with you chasing the
Absolutely.
5K best and all of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, apart
Yeah.
from this whole fitness thing, I'm also into. I'm also a practicing physician. I'm an emergency physician. I work in Manipal. So I just recently finished my MD and all of that. So finally, I've got some time after residency to get back to working out, and it's been quite a joy getting back to fitness. So it's all been
Hmm.
maintenance for the last 3 years, and finally I'm getting to do what I can do at the level that I want to be doing again. So it's a work in progress, but
That's great.
it's always there's always that peak to climb. When you've fallen off the wagon for 3 years, you always need to get back. So it's a work in progress, and I hope the
Right.
upcoming HYROX will be even better. Yeah,
Yeah, it's always work in progress. I mean, we never reach that. The moment we keep, we keep increasing the, what do you call
threshold.
what I'm not getting the word. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
We keep increasing the threshold that we'll never reach there, but we are actually having progress. Yeah,
yes.
that's how it works. So, yeah, so Likith got you into HYROX. So, did you ever have an idea before, like, okay, I mean, about HYROX, or Likith only introduced you to HYROX? How was it
I
like?
did
What
have
was it like?
some idea. I was so whenever I used to work out, I used to look up some workouts, and I saw HYROX popping up here and there. And I think a few friends and I we got into a discussion, and then Likit said there's this thing internationally happening called HYROX, and before that there was an
Hmm.
Indian version called Yodha. So
Yeah,
so during my
Likith, we spoke
yeah, so
about it.
during my exams, I heard about this, and then it was happening on the same day as the Manipal Marathon, which is actually a hometown marathon for us. But then I chose to do the Yoda race instead. I hadn't practiced. I hadn't, done pushed a sled or pulled a sled or done some rowing or anything for maybe uh, years. The last time I'd probably done it was when I was in Bangalore with ground sport. But after that, I hadn't done that
Ah,
for a really long time. And then Likit was showing me videos, and he was working out for it when he was in Gurgaon. So I registered for it, and mainly my races have always been mind over matter, mind over body for that matter. So I think I ended up, getting the first place in my age group in the regionals, Bangalore regionals. Sixth overall in the Bangalore.
oh, in Yoda.
Yeah, so sixth overall in the Bangalore regionals, and
Yeah.
then went on to the Yoda finals.
Okay.
So I think that's when Likith saw that potential in me. So he probably said, "Okay, I think we'd be better off as doubles partners, and there's a chance
Doubles
at
partner.
the podium as well." So, and that was something I'd done
So
without,
that's how you ended up.
yeah, and it was something that I'd done without much practice. So at that point, I think even during the race also we had the same wave. I was looking over to Likith, and then I told, "Bro, come on, let's go. I'm waiting for you." And Likith said, "No, you should just go ahead." So enjoyed
Hmm.
the race. I think that was a stepping stone for whatever has happened after that. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So, like you have been a hybrid athlete before, or like were you just a runner, or like what was your main thing? For example, yeah, I've been a bodybuilder for like 6 years, and right now I'm getting into running and hybrid basically.
Mhm.
But like, yeah, what was your, okay, what were you known for before
I
anything?
think it was mainly running, but at the same time, I did enjoy lifting heavy. Maybe there was no concept of a hybrid athlete at that time. Of course, we were just throwing around these words. I think when we were back in 2018, 17, and all that, so we used to lift, but we used to run. So we were not strong enough to
Right.
lift heavy, but not fast enough to run really fast. Of course, we were fast. We still, clocked probably like 38, 37-minute 10Ks. But at the same time, we were not really that fast. Fast would mean maybe 33 and below. But we were fast enough to be called fast, but we were not strong enough to really be called strong either. So we could lift 200%
Yeah.
our body weight, but we were not there. So we were just,
So you're basically faster among bodybuilders and stronger
among
among
the runners.
runners.
Yeah. So, that gray area between each, where both the lines blur. So we were right there. We used to
Right.
call ourselves hybrid athletes back then also. And I mean, just
Mhm.
hybrid people who performed both of these things. We never really gave it a term. We were just joking about it and then, making memes about it. But now with this whole
Mhm.
HYROX thing, it's really come into the mainstream. And finally, it's like, oh, it's our time to
Exactly.
shine now. So, yeah,
Exactly. Of
yeah.
course. Why not? Right. So you and Likit train together, or like how is it like currently?
So right now, because I live here in Manipal, he lives in Mangalore. We do make occasional trips. So mainly he makes a trip to Manipal, which has been helping actually. But otherwise, and we know we're at the same level in terms of running. We're equally fast, and maybe compared to him, I'm a little bit of a stronger runner, whereas he's a stronger lifter. So we
Oh.
know our strengths and weaknesses. We've run together for years
Mhm.
now, so that way I feel like coordinating workouts and sharing progress has been much easier, even if it is not on site,
Right.
at least over the phone or something like that. And whenever we've gotten together and done a workout
Right.
together, we're able to really gauge what we're strong at. So I
Mhm.
think that's how we play to our strengths
Right.
even during the races as well.
Right. Okay. So all right. So you have gone to HYROX Mumbai
Yeah,
in the month of
it was
March,
in
right?
May.
If I'm
It
not
was in
wrong.
May. So I think March was
May.
the
All right.
finals
Yeah.
of Yoda. Then
Oh, okay.
yes,
Finals of your that.
yes.
So, how was your, overall experience of, HYROX as an event, or like as a game, or as a complete workout, or whatever it is? What was your initial, I mean, overall experience
Um,
of the about the race?
I think so. So far, we've done a lot of marathons, ultra marathons together. Of course, there's always that very surreal experience that you have at the start of a marathon or even the expo before it. But this was
Hmm.
something out of the park for both of us. The energy in the place, where we're always worried about, oh, Indian weather. Will you be able to perform to the your true potential?
Right,
Is
right.
it going to really make a
Yeah.
difference, weather conditions on that day? And most of the
Mhm.
time, we don't hit our
Mhm.
marathon timing, and we're like, oh no, dude, it's because of the weather. I've sweated out too much. I got cramps and things like that. But here, this was like a perfectly well controlled environment, completely air conditioned. Uh, of course, we were sweating it out like pigs. You would have seen it in the pictures. It's
Yeah.
all dripping. But then, even then, we're all, just the music and the crowd and all of that. And people you don't know, they're cheering for you. They're seeing you're one of the fastest people out there, and they're like cheering you on. Um, and even otherwise, the visitors, the crowd control, brilliantly done. I think as an event, it's one of the best executed events I've seen so far. And I think even for that matter, Mumbai Marathon also does a brilliant job of it. And the Hyrox was on
Right,
another level, especially when it comes to a closed space. I think
right.
I don't know the exact numbers. They've seen tens of thousands of people, come in and out of the venue, and they manage the crowd brilliantly. So I think it's an experience that, at least, if not as a competing athlete, one has to just go there to be a visitor, just feel the vibes there, and I feel like that will make all the difference. The couple of people who've come with us the last time, they want to, go ahead and uh, participate with the next edition.
Right.
So it's always that feeling. You see it
Yeah.
happen, and then you want to do it. So it's a different feeling being in the midst of
Mm.
all of that. Most of it all,
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
it's the music, the playlist that they have chosen. Um, you've got John Cena's theme music playing in the background every time you start off. Come on, man, that has to hype people up. There was join on the hype
Yeah.
train.
It's
Yeah,
nostalgic as well when they play such music.
exactly. Yeah.
Right. So yeah. So I mean, did you have an idea that okay, did you go with a podium mentality, or like how did it go? Like world's, what do you call, world's toughest race, they call it, right? So did you go on a podium mentality, with a podium mentality, or just like that, let me just survive and just finish the race at least? So what
Yeah.
was it like?
So, like I said, I've always taken it as just another race. It Because if you go ahead with that, you do understand that there is. So Likit have always felt like we would be able to get the podium, and he's always been this person who had no doubt in his mind that, okay, we're going there, we're going to win it. So for
Yeah.
me, it was kind of unreal to, really think that we would be able to do that. But I had a feeling that he was right. So we understood the assignment, and we
Hmm.
just stuck to it. I think that was the most important thing, to really believe that this would happen.
You will
Yeah. So
make it to the
yeah,
podium.
and we knew we had some trust in our abilities. So we knew what we were good at. We knew
Hmm.
each other's strengths and weaknesses. We just played to it. I think that's what made all the difference when it came to, really getting that podium. Maybe even clearing off a lot of people, even the second place, by a couple of minutes. So I think even being one of the fastest people out there, it made all the difference to really believe in that idea and then go ahead. Usually, I don't take it as, something, because when you think about a podium, when you think about winning it, it's always that added pressure. So there's always going to be that thing, oh, what if something
Exactly.
doesn't go right, and all of that. So take it as just a race.
What will I or will I not?
Exactly. Yeah. Just take it
Right.
as just a race. I think at the end of the day, uh, I had to make sure I wasn't holding him back either. So
Yeah.
yeah. So at that time, something just,
Right.
burns a little brighter. And like I've said, it's always mind over body for me. It's never been, um, even if I haven't trained enough, it's okay. Like during race day, it just happens. And I'm sure it's that way for a lot of people, even for you for that matter, when you go on to do your individual.
Hopefully.
On that day, you will
Yeah.
see a difference in Iron Man, for sure. Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for that. Yeah, I've started running.
Hmm.
I mean, seeing you all itself. And I also saw you guys went for a 60K hell race, which you just
Hmm.
finished it like this. How was that? How did that go like?
So that was so
So
it's yeah. Sorry, you were going
no. Yeah, so you have done many races, or this was your first one? Like I also, I mean, I remember you mentioning you have done ultra marathon,
on.
like 100K and everything. So yeah. So tell us about
Yeah.
that one.
So this I've done. I think about 9 ultras so far. This was my 10th ultra marathon, but I've never really gone beyond a certain distance. I've capped at 53, 54. So this was the first time that I was hitting 60,
Okay.
because I there was this thing that
Oh,
I've always done, one ultra marathon a year. That was a rule for
okay,
me.
okay.
So last year's ultra marathon didn't go
Uh-huh.
as planned. I ended up doing a DNF. Hurt my ankle, fell off when I was, climbing down the mountain. But then after that, it's been a
Hmm.
year since I've done a long distance race, especially something beyond 50 kilometers. So this was after a
Hmm.
very long hiatus, and I was a little skeptical at first, because when you're used to doing something yearly, you're like, okay, but for the entire year you've not done anything, and then suddenly this is a major race, because this year I've not even done a marathon. Every year
Okay.
my January starts with a marathon, with the Mumbai Marathon. So without doing a 42, it's just. But it finally, came along, and then Likith said, "I'm just taking it as an aerobic, chill paced event or something." So I said, "Okay, fine." Then I think
Uh,
in that case, maybe even I should take it as an aerobic event itself. But yeah, despite whatever you talk about it, the Goan weather, the rains, the sun, and I don't know if we were fortunate enough to not have that heavy rains or unfortunate to have that much of sun. So we were stuck in a real, it was a hell race series. We were stuck in literal hell. So, but it was good, to
oh,
have really finished the race, and yeah, I did finish in the top five in the race. So that was also
oh,
something
oh,
unexpected.
that's a
Yeah. So
congratulations.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. But
I think you might have like, tons of medals with you there.
I do. I think there's about 50 medals in the background right behind this camera.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's nice. All right, and congrats for your 60K hell race.
Thank you. Yeah,
So that's quite impressive. To also come, in top five. That's not
yeah,
easy. I mean, it's not something which people even think about, right? Basically, it's like you're coming from, you're going from Mangalore to
yeah,
Manipal, or
yeah.
Manipal to Mangalore.
Mm,
It's basic, that's the distance you have covered. Like,
mm,
as an aerobic, just
yeah.
like a warm up run or whatever it
It's not
is,
a
right?
warm-up run for sure, but
So that's great.
but yeah, it's something that
Okay.
it's sort of like a training run because I'm building on to a 100K, which is happening in November. So it's just a
Oh,
gradual
that's nice.
progression onto the 100 kilometer race. So it had to happen. 60
Hmm.
was bound to happen. So
That's nice.
yeah,
Okay. Anyway, all the very best for your 100K in November.
thank you.
So, yeah, coming back to the HYROX,
Mhm.
the world's toughest race is what they call, right? So, when you were doing HYROX, I mean, you were doing doubles with Liquid, right?
Yeah.
So, what were your strong points and what were your weaknesses? Like, I believe that yeah, it's 50%, 50%, or whatever it is, whatever his strong are, what his strength is, whatever your strength is. So what among you and Lekit, what was your strength? Like in between what in be it the stations runs, what was your actual strength?
Yeah. So we knew that the entire race is almost 70 to 80% running. Basically, you have a good
Hmm.
running base, you'd be able to smash that race no matter what. And
Correct.
especially because it's not just the 1 kilometer that you run around, it's the ability to run right after doing a movement. And any movement in that matter, for that, it's very heavy on your legs. So to pick up that speed right after you do it, you need to have a very good running base. And not just that, you have these transition zones. These transition zones can be anywhere
Okay.
from 20 meters to 50 meters. So you've got
Rock zone.
you do the rock zone for that. So you call it the rock zone in HYROX. So essentially, the transition zones do take up a significant amount of your time. You might spend 15 seconds per transition zone of the rock zone.
Hmm.
So essentially, all in all, it's not just the 8 kilometers that you're running. You need to, mentally prep yourself to run about 10 kilometers in the entire race.
And
Yeah, and it's 10
hmm.
kilometers while doing all these moments, and really pulling, pushing very heavy weight. So of course you do need to have a good running base, but you also need to have good legs as well, enough to recover. Both of us knew we had very good running bases, so that was a big strong point, and for me personally, that was a big strong point as well. When it comes to the movements, I knew I was very good at the sled pulls. Along with that, the
Pulse.
wall balls were
Okay.
also one of my strong points. I knew he was good at lunges and burpees, whereas everything else was like a 50-50. So we knew where to, let the other person take a little bit of control, and I knew which ones that I could control a little better. But of course, the wall balls in the end didn't go according to plan. But I think that is something that we could always work on. But it was all in all,
Right.
a combined effort, although it's not 50-50 most of the time, but at least we knew which ones to go 50-50. And I knew that the sled pulls, the sled pushes, and the wall balls, maybe even the farmer's carry was something that, I could really take control. So it was like a 50-50 effort on the other side. But yes, like it was very strong on the
Right.
lunges. So I knew that right after the lunges, my legs wouldn't be, functioning properly to get the pace on. But he was there to, really draft. So we also
Right,
did this
right,
method where
right.
he was
Okay,
drafting
so
me.
and
Yeah, for the running part,
okay,
he did
yeah,
this method
yeah.
where he was drafting me. So he would run in front, I would
Okay,
be
that's
right
fine.
behind him.
Oh,
So it's a method a lot of
okay.
athletes use, mainly in races, maybe even the way that the pacers pace themselves right in front of the leading pack. So he was drafting me so
Hmm.
that there was, even though there was not a lot of moving air, he was able to cut through the air much better. I would just run behind him so that I
Right.
wouldn't have a lot of resistance, maybe. And I think even not just that, even psychologically, that really helped me to push. So he would draft me, and then
Right.
once his legs became a little tired, I would draft him for the remaining 2.5 rounds. So that
Hmm.
that strategy really helped both of us to really push the pace.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a very good tip actually.
yeah,
That's a, I don't know, it's like a magic
yeah.
sauce.
It is, when you're doing doubles,
Right,
so I can't let out our secrets, no. So,
right.
but I think it'll help people.
I mean, we can cut it off, that's okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, fair enough. All right. So, and what was your, let's say, like, did you suffer somewhere or did you struggle somewhere in any stations or in any way? And how did you, manage to pull it off? Like, what happened? Like,
I think both of us, we didn't have a lot of cramps, but yes, towards the end, we started having a little bit of side stitches. But the entire thing, the crux of it is in the warm up. And HYROX has a
okay.
lovely warm up station with all your weights
Hmm.
and your cycling equipment, your assault bikes, and um, even the regular things that you have in your HYROX movements. You have it in the warm up zone. So we had really warmed up all our muscles, every single one that we use
Right.
during the race. So going by that, I think the adequate amount of
Hmm.
warm up that we had done ensured that just musculoskeletally we didn't have any problems. But yeah, the entire thing was
Okay.
we were winded by the end of
Mhm.
it, but that's expected when you have a race like that. So other than that, I think maybe we should have probably catered to nutrition a little bit. I carried
Hmm.
only one gel. Maybe I should have carried two gels because I
Two
could,
gels.
feel my energy levels dropping towards the end of the race. But yeah, that's something that I can always, take forward to the next one.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so everything went like smooth. There was
Yeah,
no, there was no particular station where you struggled as
not
such
really.
or anything as such. Not really. Okay, so and how did you, strength balance with Likit? Like, did you guys plan it before the race, or did you guys, like, for example, like you are doing a station and when you feel tired, you switch, or how did the transition happen? Was it all planned, or did you? I mean, was it on the spot?
Yeah, so Likith is a planner and he already had an Excel sheet. Okay. He knew what we had to
Oh.
do. Whereas I visualized the night before the race itself. I didn't really have the time to sit and plan. I left it all on him. I
Hmm.
knew he would, have it all under
Hmm.
control. So I didn't have, I didn't really think much. I was just there for the vibes. Uh, but so the day before, we were just, sitting and planning out how we would, do the transitions, especially with transferring the weight during the lunges and,
Hmm.
just run through of all the rules and regulations so that we didn't, rack up any penalties. So we made sure that,
Hmm.
each of us was very familiar with the rules and what we had to do, what we could and what we couldn't do. So that the day before, we just rehearsed the entire thing, and I think that was the only proper planning that we had. Of course, on that day, if you ask Likith, he'll tell you that I didn't even know what station came after a particular station, and I was asking very dumb doubts. So I'm sure he had his own bit of skepticism about the entire event the next day, but yeah, I'm glad it didn't go down south or anything. But yeah, we did plan the previous day, and we did visualize the entire movement, and I think that helped us at least to know what we had to do. And the entire assignment was, just there in our minds at that point.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice. All right. So, and was there any, surprising station which you liked more than expected?
think I liked the lunges more than expected. I
Oh,
Yeah, because
okay.
during the Yodha race where I had done the individual event, I absolutely hated the lunges. But
Hmm.
yeah, I knew I was sort of strong, but not as strong as Likith is. But I really did enjoy it. Of course, he saw me wobbling towards the ends and he took over, but I really liked that station. And I think the ski ergs. So the ski ergs were also, but that is also because it's the first station I don't really like doing them at the gym. But at HYROX, I think it's that first station. You've got music in the background. You've got everybody hyping you up.
Right.
So I really loved that station. One station that I absolutely didn't
Okay.
like was the broad jump burpees, the burpee broad jumps. Uh, so even this time, I'm just hoping like it takes charge. I'll just sit back.
Uh, I mean, I don't have that option. I have to
Yeah, you
do
have
it
to do it, but you got 80 meters, and for us 40.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so initially we had come up with a strategy. We said we'll do four, we'll share 4 or 5 each, and then make it to 40. I mean, make it to 80.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I think like it felt a
Hmm.
little
Okay.
stronger on that day. He went up to 8 or 9 burpee broad jumps before I took over.
Oh.
But I stuck to my 5 burpee
Hmm.
broad jumps. That was the deal. So,
Okay.
you know, a little hold of my
Okay,
end.
so did he continue with five
No,
more?
no. He would.
Did he continue with five more or?
He kept on doing 8 or 9. I kept doing 5 or 6. That's all. Because that was the deal we agreed on.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Fair enough. All right.
yeah,
So, all right, coming back to the stations. So, I mean, we have 8 stations, right? So, basically, Hyrox is what, 8 kilometer running and
yeah.
8 stations. And you told that you're the strongest part of you and Liketh is, I mean, one of the strongest part is running. So, keeping that out. And rest of the stations, what would be your tips on each station? I mean, your tip, like, forget
Okay.
about what the Instagram says or whatever it is. What do you feel like?
Okay. So when it comes to the running, that's the first station you start off with.
Hmm.
I feel like you need to know your
Right.
own pace. At what point you can push, and the first round, can you sustain it to the last one? Because as
Hmm.
the as with any event for that matter, you might start off the first kilometer really strong, and then you start fizzling out towards the end. That
Hmm.
shouldn't happen. Of course, you will be so hyped up that you'll like blast off. Just the atmosphere is so electric that you might really lose all sense of pace and everything. So it's really important to hold yourself back. So maybe if you're someone who regularly runs a 440 or 430 5K, or maybe if you're somebody who can do a 5K in less than 20 minutes. So at that point, you know that your a pace you can sustain is sub 4 or whatever. But you need to also keep in mind that sub 4 is something that you might not sustain throughout the event because you've got movements in between. So maybe target a pace that's 15 seconds. Give yourself a little bit 15 seconds of leniency. So maybe if you're used to running 4 kilometers per 4 minutes per kilometer, try to do 4:15 and then build from there, or maybe even do 4:20 on the first run and then build from there. Maybe towards the end
Hmm.
of the race,
Hmm.
be call it second wind or some sort of psychological boost that you get. You will automatically get faster, but before that I feel like
Faster.
just hold yourself
And your
back.
body will be warmed up.
Exactly. So but hold yourself back on that
Hmm.
first run, the first 2 rounds at least. Target a 4:20 pace if you're somebody who is used to running around 4. But if you're feeling strong, nobody's holding you back. Just go all out. That's okay. For the ski part, I think
Hmm.
500. So for when it comes to the doubles, we've got 500 each. But in training, we do
Hmm.
1,000 meters. So
Hmm.
knowing that I've done 1,000 meters at full blast, gives me that confidence that okay, 500 meters is nothing. I can just share it with Likith, and we can be done with it. Maybe a tip that has really helped is reaching all the way up, and then ensuring that your entire range of movement is
Okay.
complete. That gives that fan a little bit of
Okay.
extra
Right.
rotation, and then can help with a bit of
Resistance. Yeah.
distance. Yeah.
Right. Right.
So and maybe even setting the
Okay.
resistance. The first time that I'd done it, I think I had set the resistance at 8 or 7 or something. And then I knew I was struggling when I was, training. But then when we were discussing just before the race, we told we have to come to a single, point where, because he can't change the resistance when
Point,
I'm doing
right.
it, and I can't change the resistance
Exactly.
when he is doing it either. You have to set it first
Exactly.
before you move. So you're losing valuable seconds, maybe even
Mm,
1 or 2 seconds of your time. At that time, maybe
mm,
come to a consensus if you're doing doubles, that you are going to set the resistance at maybe 5
mm,
for the ski, 6 for the row, or something like that.
mm,
So I think we had come to a
mm,
consensus that
mm,
we'd set it at 5, and that really helped us.
mm.
It was easier for me. I was able to push, so complete that entire range of motion, and then even that little bit of extra range of motion that you're able to put in does go a long way. It helps you shave even 5-6 seconds.
Mm.
So those 5-6 seconds, even if you're someone
Right.
not competing, if you just want to just push and then finish the race, that 5-6 seconds you can use in the rock zone to just walk. So if you're not if you're not somebody who's really getting there to win the podium, but then just finish the race, you have that amount of time where you can slow down your heart rate, catch a breath, take maybe 2 deep breaths, 3 seconds each. So completing that entire range of motion can still help you save some time and maybe help you catch your breath as well. So
Right.
ski is, of course, it does a little bit of aerobic. When it comes to the row, I think the row happens, I don't know the order again, but it happens between two heavy weight movements, from what I remember. So even at the row, what you'll be able to do is, it's very aerobic. That is where you take your time, start breathing, bring down your heart rate, because the run
Mm.
gets your heart rate up. Row is where you bring down your heart rate,
Correct.
take deep breaths out, and then try to
Okay.
really calm. So at the same time, if you're a doubles partner, the one who's standing at the back, just chill out, just vibe to the music, get your heart rate back down, because the music also is at a very high RPM, beats per minute, and even otherwise you will be pumped up. A tip for the
Mm,
the sled pushes, and if you are doing
mm,
doubles, ensure that
mm,
communicate with your partner where exactly you're going to take that stop, and for the other person to take over,
mm,
because doing the entire thing might actually tire you
mm.
out more than doing it halfway. So we made a thing where,
Entire as in the complete,
yeah, the
like
12 and a
I
half,
think you have 4 rounds.
yeah, 12 and a half
Yeah.
meters. So stop at maybe 7
Mm.
meters or something, maybe 6
Okay.
meters,
Okay.
6.2 meters
Mm,
or something,
mm,
and then let
mm,
the other person take over. So
mm,
that way you have frequent switches. You're not losing speed, and at the same time you've got enough breathing space as well. So that helped both Liket
mm.
and I to really catch our breaths during the pushes, even the pulls for that matter. We've got two different ways of pulling. I think you've seen the videos. Both of us pull very
Right.
differently.
Right. Right.
So I might use a
Correct.
little bit more of my upper body to my lower body, because I feel like if I use my legs, I might tire them out faster. So that's why.
Right.
Yeah, sled pulls, even when it comes to that, maybe you have to find out what works best for you. And again,
Mm.
it's the same thing that you do with the sled pushes as well. Stop halfway, let the other person take over, do that. And there's also a bucket of chalk kept. Ensure that you're using the chalk,
Okay.
because definitely it's going to
Okay.
slip. When
Mm.
your partner's pulling, just go quickly grab the bucket of chalk, just rub it on, and
Okay.
then start pulling. It'll give you a bit of grip. So a lot of people forget
Okay.
that there's a bucket
So,
of chalk.
hmm. So what would you suggest, like a person doing singles? Like, okay, when you are doing doubles, okay, you can go get the
Yeah,
chalk and come.
yeah,
That's one thing. And when you're doing doubles, also you can transition in between. So
yes.
what do you suggest for someone who's doing singles? Like, should he also should he or she also stop in between like 7 meters and then take rest and do or one
I
whole
think,
round or like what do you suggest?
yeah, so on an average, if you see the average times when it comes to sled pulls or even pushes for that matter, I think sled pushes are around
Mm-hmm.
between 3 and 4 minutes. Sled pulls are between two
Okay.
and a half to 3 minutes. So even when it comes to individual,
Correct.
if 4 minutes is something that you're targeting, that's like the average person. So you can 25 meters doesn't really even 12.5 meters for that matter. It doesn't really take much time. It takes about 30 seconds if you go all out. but you give
Correct.
yourself, but at the end of it, you might actually spend more time resting than you would, running. So push halfway, give yourself 3 seconds, maybe 2 breaths,
Right.
and then again push. I feel
Hmm.
like that does make a little bit of a difference. Taking 2, 3 deep breaths does get your heart rate back down. And
Hmm.
I've seen that work out for me when I've done the Yoda race as well. And then it's during the HYROX, I'm sure it's a little bit easier for me, but it's worked out during Yoda. So I feel like that
Yodha.
might,
Okay.
yeah. So that I feel like it's about the same distance for you also when you're doing HYROX. So it does help.
Hmm. Okay. All right. So yeah, that's with the pulse. Okay, let's go with the fourth station. I think burpee broad jumps.
Burpee
So
broad
burpee broad
jumps.
jumps is like a nightmare trauma for everyone.
Yeah.
So what do you have to tell?
I think Likith has covered the penalties and how you should go about it. You always start behind
Yes,
the line.
definitely. Yeah.
And that does make all the difference because that penalty is quite, proves to be very costly in the end. There was a time where we thought we had the penalty because the name underneath ours had the 5 minutes written, and we start going faster on the runs, thinking that we have to outrun the penalty.
We
But
have.
then, yeah. So, but turns out it wasn't us; it was somebody else. But yeah, you need to ensure that again, when you're doing individuals, you have no choice; you have to dog it out. But when it comes to having a partner, of course, you can communicate 5 each. Maybe you're covering about 8-9 meters in that. So you're probably going to exchange maybe 4 times or 5 times at the entire thing. So easing that on, like I've only exchanged it halfway. So when you're halfway, you've exchanged it twice. You say, okay, I just have to exchange it again 3 more times. Think mentally also you're ready for that. So it's easier when you're doing doubles, but I think when you're doing singles, yes, that every box is going to be like a nightmare. It's a square box, 1 meter. So even then, I feel like you can take a breath. You can give yourself about 4-5 seconds because everybody is going to be winded. Nobody is at that rate of metabolism where they are able to do the entire length. So, but yeah. There are a lot of techniques that you can use. I think recently you've been trying out kneeling and then jumping.
Right. The step
That,
up. The step
the
up.
step
Yeah.
up.
Knee step up. Yeah.
So that does save a lot of energy, and I feel like that is something that you can incorporate in your individual because it makes more sense. You are doing it all alone.
Correct.
You don't need to think about time and every second that you lose. So even if you've probably used a little bit more time getting up and all of that, at the end of the day, as a cumulative experience, you do end up reducing the amount of time that you expend on something else. You might have a little bit more energy left to outperform on another movement. So the burpee broad jumps, why not do the step up technique? It's so much better when you're doing it as an individual.
Okay. Yeah. So is it better if we go like, complete out, for example, let's 8, 9 and take rest, or just pace up slowly? What is your opinion
It's
on
always
that?
keeping a slow pace. It's keeping a very constant pace.
Slow pace.
Yeah. I think
Okay.
it's time and time again. It's that, the turtle wins the race and everything. Yes, we've seen it. There's a lot of iterations about it. But yeah, keeping a constant pace, you always need to. That's how I feel like as a whole, as the overall time that you gain out of it, I think that keeping a constant pace does help instead of having bursts of
That's
activity and.
So because that means even if you can, you shouldn't go. You should stop yourself.
Yeah,
Like,
because
okay,
everybody's
let
hyped
me
up.
pace first. Yeah.
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 Whereas when it comes
Right.
to your, lunges and everything, you already know what it's like. It has to be a lot of background work for you to really last those lunges. Even if it is just 20 meters or 30 meters or whatever, it's still going to hurt your legs because it's, I think, 20 kilograms
Yes.
for us. 25, 20,
Yeah.
25, 20, I think. 20
20
is
20
20,
kgs for
yeah,
opens and
for the
30
open,
for
30 for the
pro.
pro. So
Yeah,
the way that you
yes.
can go, the faster, like how fast you can go or how fast you can pull on that, it all depends on what your base is. So without a good base, it's something that you can't overcome, because invariably, if you don't have a base in lunging, you are going to cramp up. And then we've seen really bad
Mhm.
cramps. So yeah, farmers carry by
Yeah,
far, I think, is the easiest station there is. It's just, but yeah, you can always walk that station. But I feel like
Hmm.
if you really hold it and go for a slow jog with the
Yeah,
kettlebells, it does help save some time. I think it's one of the fastest station there is.
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's actually a gold
Okay.
mine. You
So,
know
and
that
one
it's
more
that
is,
bonus. Yeah.
yeah, and wall balls.
Wall balls, that's the last station. There's a big chance that you will cramp on the first, squat there. But if you're used to it, I think a wall ball station is just something that you can really pull off, because I think we've timed ourselves to a lot of wall. So again, you have to be used to this. You have to know what pace you're
Hmm.
going at. Of course, you can't go fast also. You need to ensure that you're finishing it smoothly, because that's not where it ends, right? You still have to run around 50 meters to get to the finish. So there's no point if you cramp there and then limp to the finish line. Okay.
Hmm.
So and at the same time, it's all about form, because wall balls is one station where you can get so many no reps that you get very frustrated. I've had two no reps there, and then like it had to take over because
Just
the,
two. Two is a good number, please.
no, but no, the no reps was because the ball wasn't touching. So
Okay.
yeah,
It's
it
just
was
going
so
and coming
fatigued.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, I was so fatigued by then. But it was the last 20 wall balls that were left. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, if you're able to keep a constant pace throughout the wall balls as well, that does end
Hmm.
up helping you save some time. Maybe even read up on the rules and regulations of how the wall ball should be,
Right.
breaking the parallel,
Correct.
where you have to hit the ball. Just keeping that in mind also does enable that helps you not get into a penalty, and helps you finish it with a good time as well. At the end of the day, you need to save at least some legs for your wall balls. You can go all out in the last run. I think that's what we did. But the wall ball station will just happen. I think the most important thing we've had is the selection of shoes, because we've seen a few people who use these carbon plated alpha flies for the wall balls. It's not very stable when it comes to doing the wall balls with those.
Right.
Maybe use shoes that you've always been used to while doing HYROX as well. So that way, suddenly on race day, you're not, perplexed. You're suddenly not rocking back and forth, losing balance when it comes to either lunging or the wall ball station.
So that's one thing. And you told about the last run, right? So is it really recommended to, go all out in the last run before wall balls, or what do you think a person should do?
Yeah. Personally, I was very hyped up. So if you ask Likith, he was having stitches.
Just want to finish it off. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, so I was so hyped up because we were on that last run, and I knew we were really there. We were almost, I think just before the last run, it was probably the 58th minute or 59th minute, and I was telling Likith we're almost there, and then so he started having cramps at that time, and I knew he was struggling a little bit. But at that time, whatever pain was there, it just left my body. And then, but yeah, if you're
Hmm.
feeling like it, you have to go all out. But if you're not feeling too
Hmm.
good, of course, you need to know when to hold yourself back. But if you're feeling it, go all out. There's nothing that's going to stop you. Wall balls will always be there. That's something that you need to, come to terms with. But that last run, that's where it's at. Maybe you might be able to
Hmm.
save a few seconds at least when it comes to running that
Yeah, see
bit.
a second. Yeah,
So
yeah.
because wall balls
Right,
are a tough
right.
station to end with, and invariably you
Hmm.
are going
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
stop.
Hmm.
You will stop. Maybe a lot of people will stop. Maybe no one's going to go. A lot of people
Hmm.
do go all 100 wall balls. But
100,
for
yeah.
an average person, of course, you can't do 100 in one go. You might do 50 and then rest, or you might do 60 and rest. So at least for that that rest also, you might think it's just 20 seconds of rest, but before you know it, 1 minute has gone by. So if you're able to save even 10 seconds with the run, take it. Why not?
Right. Okay, so that's about the last run. And one more thing you told about the rest, right? For example, okay, when you're doing doubles, you have a transition when
Yeah.
the other person is doing, you can take a rest, you can breathe and everything, right?
Yeah.
So, but what would what do you think? What's that one tip for the singles men or women who they can do? When should they rest? When do you think they should rest?
Maybe use the rock
Or
zone.
let's say let's say they're doing a station and they stop, how much they should rest and when they should rest. So what do you think about that?
So I'm sure you've seen the layout of the entire thing with the HYROX, where the stations are, where the rock zone is, and the hydration points. So as you enter the rock zone, there's a hydration point which has Red Bull. I've skipped that. Of course, Red Bull does hype you up and all of that, but I didn't want to take any extra caffeine or anything, just, that might unnaturally spike my heart rate more than it should have. But there is another station as you exit the rock zone. So it depends. Probably it might vary this time as well. But usually this is the case where you exit and there's a hydration station with water and electrolytes. So that rock zone is probably going to be 20 to 50 meters, depending on where your station is. So that bit, it's okay to walk. Maybe you're going to spend about 30 seconds there. And that's where you can really catch your breath. So for the individuals, I feel like you can catch your breath there, unless you're really gunning for that, finish time or something like that. If you're not gunning for that finish time, I'm sure that is something, that is where you can probably catch a breath, maybe walk there, have a bit of, have a sip. And as you're walking, ensure that you're consciously doing this. That you're consciously taking a deep breath and taking a slow breath out. It does help in bringing down the heart rate. So the entire thing is a play with your heart rate and how comfortable your cardiovascular system is with respect to the effort that you're putting in. So, as you're walking, just take that time to take those 20 seconds, 30 seconds to just bring your heart rate down, make yourself very comfortable, just clear your head a bit. Maybe that last station was traumatic, but you need to look forward to the next one. So take
of course,
just wash it down with some electrolytes, some water. Maybe not a lot, because again, running fast, you can end up having some side stitches. So just take your time, go there, and I think that is somewhere you can rest, and you can rest well there.
Okay. All right. So, I think we have covered almost all the stations.
Yeah.
And you have explained it, pretty well. Thanks for that. And let's go on to your training structure and preparation. Like, how is it going on currently? I think you will be competing again in Mumbai, September 7th, which is almost here.
2 weeks.
How's your preparation going? Like, how are you coping up with it?
So I think we've been preparing pretty well so far. I don't have a very fixed schedule because of my work. It has been very erratic. I think you've seen it personally as well when you come here. So
right.
but whatever time is available, I'll take it, and then maybe make sure that at least 3 times a week I'm doing some amount of weights training. 3 times a week there's a bit of running. There's that long run that happens on the weekend. That's to get that aerobic pace, make sure that you're comfortable running a 20, or maybe even running for 3 hours or 4 hours at a time, because when you're on your feet for that long, your conditioning is right there. And then I make sure that there's one hard run a week, which is a track session. So during the track session is what we do with the Norwegian 4x4 drills, which is essentially drills to improve your VO2 max. So, and the whole point of the drills is how fast you can go, how much you can push, because at the end of the day, it's about being adjusted to that amount of lactates that's, accumulating in your body out of the workout. So, every week that you do it, there's a higher likelihood that you are going to improve your lactate threshold for that matter, when it comes to pushing yourself during the runs or any workout. So far I think the VO2 max drills have really helped. They've helped me really push to the end. Maybe that's probably the reason that that last ball just before the ball round I was able to push much faster. But yeah, that is one run that I keep. So it's usually an easy run, a very chatty run, and a very hard one on the track, and a very long run that's on the weekends. And then whatever time is there in between, I fill it up with a bit of swimming and some strength training sessions. The strength training sessions I've been really focusing on some lunges and getting those legs ready, because this time it's not just the HYROX doubles. We're also doing the HYROX relay as well. So we need to really recover before doing the relay. So ensuring that that is also happening on the side.
Yeah. All right. So while training currently, do you simulate any drills, or do you simulate the entire HYROX or the pace what you're doing it in HYROX? Like how does your training sessions work actually? Like do you actually maintain the same pace what you're gonna do in HYROX, or how is it?
So most of the time my training sessions are sleep deprived training sessions. Half the time it's right after a night shift or something like that. Or I wouldn't have slept well the previous day, but I do know that the night before HYROX or even a couple of days before HYROX, I would have slept pretty well. So I take whatever I do in general in life as a training session. So when it comes to doing the workouts as well, we do ensure that we're simulating the speed at which we're doing HYROX as well. But at the same time, the main focus is on form, because we know that once you get the form down right, there's a less likelihood that you're going to rack up penalties. Because at the end of the day, even during HYROX, there's something goes wrong, your form is wrong, you don't do the prescribed format, you're going to rack up a penalty. So more than anything, it's to focus on the form. And then again, like our sled pushes and sled pulls, we do go 300 kilograms on the sled, so that 300, 350 kilograms, so that on the race day it's much easier because it's half. But then again, the sleds are very different that we have with the race and the one we have at the gym here. So ensuring that we're pushing a lot harder, maybe even using some heavier weights as well. So even if it is a little slower than the HYROX formats, it's okay. At least you're doing something that's a little bit heavier, because your resistance is a little bit on the higher side. So on race day, it feels a little easier. Is psychologically, that's how I feel. But when it comes to the pace, there are some workouts in between where we push. There are some workouts that we don't. We focus more on the form. Maybe in a week, we might do one workout that we really have to push, and maybe two workouts that we really focus on form.
Skill
Format,
work,
skill work. So mainly when it comes to format, yes, something very close to the HYROX format as well. But otherwise, alternative movements also with our Olympic lifts and explosive movements. Maybe even with instead of doing broad jumps all the time, we might do box jumps. Maybe instead of doing skiing, we might do snatches or something. So something that helps with activating the same set of muscles. Even when it comes to instead of rowing doing the rows day, week in, week out, we might incorporate some TRX pulls or some face pulls with the bands, or even maybe 40 to 50 pull-ups. We might take time to do that, but those are alternative movements that we do incorporate. So that's usually how my training sessions have been.
Okay. All right, that's nice. All right, so let's go through the nutrition and recovery part for HYROX. So, what is your overall opinion on that? How a person should take care of the nutrition and recovery from when he should start? Like we have this number one is carb loading phase or whatever it is, right? So, can you give in detail, let's say, walk through on how a person should take the nutrition and recovery for HYROX?
Okay, so this is nutrition and recovery is always very controversial. It's a matter that's like two Everybody has
mean,
different opinions about it.
exactly. I
Yeah.
feel it's not only nutrition, everything works like if it works for you, it's good.
Yeah, if it
Right?
works
It's
for you,
not
it's
only the
good.
nutrition. Yeah. Some things might work for me. See, my entire body type is different. My training history is different, right? And currently, I will need a lot of nutrition this thing because I'm doing something new in endurance training, right?
Yeah.
But you have your endurance, strength is pretty well and everything, so you might not need as much as things I might be taking, right?
Okay.
Or yeah, that's always a debatable. Nutrition
Yeah.
is always a
Always
debatable
debatable
topic.
when it comes to
Yeah.
recovery also. One thing is, I'm a
Right,
bad
right.
person when it comes to recovery as well. I don't preach I don't practice what I preach. But of
Practice
course,
what I
yeah.
preach, right?
So recovery, yes, it's very important. Maybe that week leading up to HYROX, you need to ensure that you're recovered from all the workouts that you've done the months leading up to it. Some good foam rolling sessions, good meditative yoga sessions, maybe that entire week. Maybe one or two easy runs to just keep that base level of fitness, because one week your fitness can still drop. So maybe just keep yourself sharp with that. Take an entire week of just a blissful, easy week where you're eating healthy and everything. Recovery doesn't work like that for me because of the work that we do. But
Right.
yeah, when it comes to nutrition as well, we're South Indians. We do have enough carbs in our diet. I don't think we need to have or incorporate additional carb sources or anything like that. Whatever we've been having all this while with rice and pulses and all of those other
Idli,
idlis, yeah,
dosa,
it's
rice
more than
roti.
enough.
Yes.
Maybe at the same time, maybe cut down on some of the fried stuff and everything. That might actually help. Have a lot of protein as well, because that's very essential to keep your muscles toned and ensure that building and the repair process is ongoing. Of course, your body has a way of keeping homeostasis, and that's the most important thing. At the end of the day, trust your body. Invariably it's going to be in a state of homeostasis, and no additional work is really required unless you're pushing it. But of course, there is always that bit of maintenance that your body does require. Maybe if you feel a little low on energy, of course, you might need a little bit of carbs and protein, and something that you can incorporate. And maybe your body might be asking for a rest day, and you need to really answer to that. You have to ensure that you have given enough rest. Personally, when it comes to nutrition, the day before HYROX, we were hunting for pani puri and dahi puri stalls. So that is,
Okay.
I have always, before every race, I've always had dahi puri. So
Is there any, is it anything, what do you call, useful because of the dahi puri you have, or
no, man,
like
it's just
what?
superstition.
Why?
It's just practice. See, an ultra marathon is just an eating and it's just a slugfest of just your climbing and eating and whatnot. So at that point, you're just putting anything in your mouth that gives you some calories. Because you're so deficient in them when you're running for maybe 5 hours, 6 hours, and all of that. So, coming from that background, it has just carried on towards life as well. You're very chill. At the end of the day, you're very chill about eating, drinking, and everything that you do. So, I don't really have a hard and fast rule when it comes to nutrition, but I would like to get there. One of the goals this year is to really eat clean and eat healthy. Of course, whatever we eat at home is definitely healthy. Maybe eating clean would be cutting out those fats and fried stuff. Maybe even concentrating on some amount of supplementation. Of course, we are protein deficient as a population. Maybe even ensuring that you're getting up to 0.7 to 1 gram per kg of protein. That would really go a long way. And especially when you're working out as much as you are with HYROX training and everything, you might need a little bit more. Of course, there's a bit of research with creatine and everything, and even that might really help. But otherwise, yes,
Right.
ensure that you've got, your some amount of supplementation does help, of course. But just eat clean and eat whatever works for you. What works for me might not work for you. I'm sure the eat puri before a race
Of
for
course.
you might be blasphemous. So but
Right.
yes, of course, a little bit of carb loading. I have a friend who eats a whole pizza before the day before the race. So that is his version of carb loading. Oh, he eats rice the entire week. It doesn't mean that he can't eat rice the day before the race. He started eating
Of course,
pizzas
of
before
course.
races. So then, yeah. So what works for him,
Yeah.
I might not be able to do the same because a pizza can get my stomach upset for the race. So
Yeah, of course.
so just eat something that you're always used to, something that's easy on the stomach. You might find something experimenting with things. So even when, a lot of people have asked me throughout the years, what do I eat before the race, the night before a race, and what do I think they should eat the night before the race? Whatever that they've been eating all this while, something that doesn't, upset your stomach. Don't try something new the night before.
Exactly.
If you feel like you've
Yeah.
eaten pasta and pasta is able to, stay down the night before the race, why not you eat that? Something that works for me is dal khichdi, and that really stays down the night before the race. So and everybody, I'm sure, has a different way to look at it. So
Right. Right.
yeah,
Okay. So it's a dahi puri power. Yeah.
yeah, pure dahi puri power.
Okay. So, okay, let's say apart from what you do or how your nutrition or recovery is, do you have like one underrated nutrition and recovery tip for for the athletes basically?
Yeah. I think right after you finish working out, it's imperative that you try to maybe not stretch too much, but at least ensure that you're walking around to, just clear off that lactates. Walking around to ensure that your muscles are not suddenly stiff. And a bit of foam rolling does help. It's helped me. I'm sure it can help anybody when it comes to that. Some amount of, release in that tension. So that with a good amount of sleep right after the event, it does go a long way. I feel like one of the most important things is we are not sleeping well enough. Then either before the event or even after the event as well. And there's always this thing where within 3 hours of finishing an event, you need to ensure that you're eating some carbs and protein. That's that optimal window where you're even if you don't feel like eating, ensure that you're eating so that your body can go back to storing your proteins and glucose and everything, so that you're replenishing your own sources before something else happens. So, and yeah, the good amount of fluids as well right after finishing, because a lot of first timers, when they finish, they do end up going into the state of muscle breakdown. You don't want that to happen either. So ensure that you're having a lot of fluids even if you don't feel like it. Of course, a lot of people forget about it because you have the HYROX environment it's cold, you don't feel like eating, you might not pee enough, and you do have to realize that you're at a negative balance at that point. Ensure that you're drinking enough, hydrating enough, have some electrolytes, and even electrolytes post event. I think that also has gone a long way in recovery. So that's something that you can always incorporate.
Okay, all right, that's good. And what do you think one can do in order to avoid cramps during the workouts or during HYROX?
I think that again has to go with how. So there are a couple of reasons why that happens. One is, of course, your muscles probably contracted too much, or maybe has pulled a little bit longer than you would have intended to. You might have put in a little bit more effort that might have led to cramping, or you might have some electrolyte disturbances. Maybe you've sweated out too much. So you can always take in electrolytes. They have a good balance there. The supplementation that they have in their hydration zones, pretty good. If you feel like you need to carry your own, you can always carry your own, but you have to ensure that you're carrying it throughout the race. So you can't leave it anywhere. So you have to ensure that you're carrying it with you throughout the entire event. So hydrating well and taking in electrolytes as and when you need it uh, will ensure that you don't get cramps. Maybe even having a bit of food before you start off the event as well. 2 hours before, have some food in, maybe something easy to digest. Couple of bananas, maybe some protein mixed in curd and oats or something. Have an oatmeal or something before you start the event. So that also helps with cramps. So ensures that you need to ensure that your body is not deficient on energy or electrolytes. So that does help in preventing cramps. And any untoward movement can also lead to strain. Maybe you're stretching too much when you're doing your sled pushes. So that can also strain your calf a bit. So ensure that your load is, symmetrically distributed. So unless it is symmetrically distributed, you might be loading one side a little too much. That can end up with you having cramps on one side. So ensure that all of that is in the thing. Be a little mindful about whatever you're doing. I think that will ensure that you don't cramp as much.
Okay. All right. So I think we have covered most of the things now, and we've covered the tips of all the stations and nutrition and recovery as well. So do you have, anything else to tell it, and anything regarding HYROX
Yeah.
to the beginners, or to yourself, or or maybe what you would have done differently right now in your upcoming HYROX, or what the things you regret doing, or not regret doing. There will be, of course, mistakes everywhere, right? So was there anything before and you would want to solve it here, or mainly beginner tip or whatever it is?
So nothing for the beginners, the first timers. I think just go ahead and enjoy the race. It's something that you don't see every other day, and not every event is conducted this way. So just be there for the vibes, and really soak in the experience. A lot of people do pursue this very seriously, and but don't get fazed by that, because everybody is there running their own race. There might be somebody who's doing it because they've not done something of this scale before. There's somebody who is ran their entire lives, and they're just trying to get into some amount of strength training, and they're trying to do something that's very different. There might be people like you've been bodybuilding your entire life, and then suddenly you want to transition to something that's more functional. So
Functional.
yeah, it's very functional when at the end of the day. So everybody is there, all walks of life. You're just one of them. So just enjoy, soak in the experience. I think
Just enjoy.
Yeah, and I think even
whatever the results are, just have fun.
exactly. Yeah, just have fun. I think a lot of podcasts that with respect to foreign athletes, they love coming to India because they feel like might not be as competitive. But yes, we do offer some competition, but we have fun while we are at it. They feel like it's very nascent here and it's easier to win, but let's make it a little harder for them to win as well. But at the same time, but at the same time, for me personally, it's just another race. And I'm just trying to have fun while I'm at it. And Likith wants to win it. Okay, we'll give him the win. So, yeah. But yeah, it's
all right. So
I'm here for the vibes totally. So
that's nice. Yeah. So do you see yourself, sticking with Likith even in your future races, like for HYROX basically? I mean,
of course,
as pairs, or are you planning to do singles at least once, or to get a vibe, or to get a feel of it? Like, do you have any plans, or you'll just stick to the podium? You'll not move from that podium.
Yeah. So I think right after this, we're planning a pro division. So that will be coming up maybe next year. So
next year,
next year maybe pro, and then after that, I think if I feel like it, I might do the individual sometime. That said, it's not something. So because HYROX is not the only thing that I want to do this year. I'm doing 12 different hard events for every month of this year, and HYROX is just one of them. So
one of them.
Yeah, it's just another facet in the entire thing that I'm trying to incorporate into my life because of Like I missed out on doing these things for nearly 3 years. So I don't want to miss. So that's why I wanted to do everything at once for this year. But yeah, my goals might change next year. I might do HYROX, I might not do HYROX. But yes, the pro division is one thing that I want to do, and then maybe I'll see where it goes from there. But after that, yes, I definitely do want to do an individual and see where I stand. It'll be a little hard, but that's also something I want to explore. But there's a lot more, I want to do an Ironman. I want to do and every single one of this, it takes a different kind of training approach.
You're one step closer.
Yeah,
of
it's
course,
it's
of
all a
course.
different training approach, because right after 2 weeks after HYROX is I'm running a full marathon again. So the training for HYROX and the training for full marathon, those are two different things. So I need to ensure that it's all balanced out. So I don't know where next year also might take me, but for the time being, yes, I would. Another couple of races with Likith is still there on the cards, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
All right. So I think we have, almost covered most of it. The your HYROX journey, Pranav's, HYROX journey, from running to the podium and crushing the HYROX in 1 minute, 1 hour, 5 minutes. And I'm pretty sure this year it'll be even more, more harder, and the time will also be lesser. So I really wish you will, achieve that, and also whatever other dreams you have, Ironman and everything. Someday, even I have a very big dream to achieve that. So hopefully we'll do it. And yes, thank you for coming here on board and having this call, having this podcast, and also people who have watched till here. Thank you so much for coming till here, watching the entire video, hearing our conversation. Hopefully, we have benefited you in one or the other way. And thanks for also subscribing. And if you haven't, please do subscribe and like the video, and also share. Also, you can follow us on Instagram. I personally post all these contents, fitness contents, the podcast with people, athletes like Pranav, Likith, and many more, hopefully. So let's keep in touch. And Pranav, do you have to tell anything in the end? Just an ending a sentence or whatever.
Yeah, thank you for having me on, Sinan. It's been an honor, actually. It's very nice talking to you. Conversation just flows. Yeah, you're a lovely podcaster, and I can see this podcast just building up from where it is right now. And right after your the first HYROX journey, I know it's going to skyrocket. And all the best to your HYROX individuals. We'll be there to cheer you on.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. So you'll have some loud cheers from the both of us. So we'll look forward to seeing you there, and all the best to everybody who's doing it this year. And we'll see you for the pro division as well. So we'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'll have you again in this podcast after your Ironman or any ultra marathon again, 100K marathon again, to give in insights. All right. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone. This is Mishinat Mohammed signing off. Thank you.